This octopus rolls across the seafloor on 2 arms, while its other 6 arms make its body resemble a floating coconut. The coconut octopus lives in shallow tropical waters of the Indian and Western Pacific Oceans, often over sand scattered with shells and litter. When it needs to cross open ground, 2 arms roll beneath its body and lift it forward. The remaining 6 spread around the body, concealing its shape. Researchers call this bipedal or stilt-walking locomotion. Researchers suggest the disguise may mimic a rolling coconut, but the exact purpose is unconfirmed. The same animal also gathers coconut half-shells and seashells for shelter, carrying some up to 20 meters before arranging them around its body. That turns scattered debris into a portable hiding place. Its toolkit supports more than movement. It hunts crustaceans such as crabs and shrimp along with bivalves. Together, these behaviors let a soft-bodied hunter cross sand, conceal itself, and build cover from what the seafloor provides. A tiny rainforest fish can climb a net using a club-shaped outgrowth from the side of its head. Trichogenes claviger lives in Brazil's shaded, slow-moving Atlantic forest streams where it mostly feeds on insects falling onto the water. The species grows to about 51 millimeters long, and it is the only fish known from its habitat. In males, that structure is an elongated opercular process beside the gill cover, a male-specific feature. It is the only known secondary sex characteristic in pencil catfishes, and its movable black-tipped end might signal courtship. When captured, it can press this process against a net wall and climb upward. It can also gulp air from the water's surface. That unusual adaptation belongs to a fish known from only about 16 square kilometers of Kitay's forest, where deforestation threatens its remaining habitat. The narrow range makes every remaining forest stream significant. Cape sundew is easy to grow and widely cultivated, yet invasive in New Zealand while uncommon and localized in its native Cape region. In South Africa's Cape region, it forms low, flat rosettes beside seeps, creeks, and coastal wetlands. The soil stays wet but offers very few nutrients. There, it grows on peat, sand, moss-covered rock, and sphagnum beds. Stalked glands release sticky mucilage with digestive enzymes. When prey touches them, the tentacles bend inward and the blade curls more than 180 degrees around it. The trapped arthropod supplies nutrients missing below ground. At 20 degrees Celsius, it is roughly 6 times more viscous than water. Fresh mucilage can stretch into threads up to 1 meter long. Cultivated as a botanical curiosity since the mid-18th century, it is now one of the easiest carnivorous plants to grow. It is readily propagated from seed. For decades, the Mesola red deer survived as one population in one Italian woodland. Only in 2023 did conservationists establish a second population. This subspecies once ranged across the Italian peninsula. Deforestation and overhunting erased it from most of its former range. The 835.7-hectare Bosco della Mesola woodland became its last refuge. Its isolation became most severe during World War II. Further exploitation of the woodland drove the herd to just 10 animals between 1943 and 1947. Protection and habitat management then supported recovery. Pastures were reseeded, winter food was provided, and competing fallow deer were culled. The population reached about 300 by 2023. The herd's antler growth also improved, including the return of mature stags with visible crowns and lower antler branches. That year, 50 deer were released in stages into the Natural Regional Park of Serre. The following summer, the first 2 fawns were born there, marking a new population beyond Mesola. Unlike mainland rabbits, this island cottontail may wait beneath a bush when people approach. On San Juanito, individuals are noted for especially little escape behavior when approached. It lives only on Mexico's Islas Marías, the sole rabbit family member there. By day, it rests in shallow depressions beneath dense bushes, then emerges into open areas around sunset. Its isolation is associated with reduced fear, but few known native predators share the setting. The documented hunters are the Tres Marias raccoon, red-tailed hawk, and crested caracara. Now, introduced pigs, white-tailed deer, goats, and black rats compete for resources or damage habitat through feeding. Browsing removes native plants and degrades the low cover where these rabbits rest. The cottontail occupies less than 500 square kilometers across the archipelago and is endangered. A rabbit that may not flee easily still faces shrinking, lower-quality habitat across its island home. In 2004, a nationwide survey found that most captive sun bears in Malaysia lacked adequate conditions, and that finding led to a conservation center. Sun bears are protected forest animals, yet habitat loss, poaching, and illegal wildlife trade can push them into unsuitable captivity. The survey began with wildlife biologist Wong Siu T, who received a grant to examine captive bears across Malaysia. His findings prompted a dedicated facility in Sabah's Sepalak Kabali Forest Reserve beside the Sepalak Orangutan Rehabilitation Center. BSBCC was founded there in 2008. The center began with 8 confiscated sun bears. They came from private homes, zoos, plantations, logging camps, restaurants, and resorts, places unable to provide suitable care. Today, its role is not simply shelter. BSBCC rehabilitates bears for release when possible while providing long-term care for those that cannot return to the wild. Some bears lose survival skills in captivity, making release impossible. The center provides careful care rather than forcing an unsafe return to the forest. The Okanogan fameflower survived the last ice age in a glacial refugium. Today, it occupies only a narrow mountain range in Washington and British Columbia. Today, its populations occur between 800 and 1,500 meters on south to southwest facing rocky slopes, outcrops, and knolls. These dry, rocky openings define its present habitat. The plant stays low with a thick taproot below ground and fleshy, narrow leaves above it. This compact form suits rocky openings on exposed slopes. When it flowers, the display is brief. Blossoms usually last only a short time before withering. Most are white to cream, although some flowers show pink or yellow coloration. In a 1994 paper, Trevor Goward and Helen Knight proposed a glacial refugium where the species persisted during the Ice Age. After the glaciers retreated, populations spread back north into the Okanogan Highlands and Kettle River Range while disappearing from the refugium. A wild turkey living among Manhattan streets escaped an NYPD capture attempt in April 2025 by simply taking flight. Astoria, also called Rosie, first appeared at a Queens community garden in April 2024. Later that month, she reached Midtown, likely flying over the East River. She then spent time on Roosevelt Island. In the city, she foraged in planters, moved through parks, and roosted in trees at night. Planters offered food while trees provided nighttime shelter. After Roosevelt Island, Astoria returned to Manhattan in April 2025. People spotted her in Central Park, the Upper East Side, and the Battery. In the Battery, locals fed her worms. When the NYPD tried to capture her, Astoria flew away and continued moving among New York City locations. A bird able to cross rivers, parks, and neighborhoods can still be difficult to manage. At night, she roosts in a tree above the streets.